Sometimes s- sometimes it's a pain in the ass with the time change. So I get like I'll
Where
get
are you?
I'm in Alaska.
Oh, okay. Right on. How did you overlap with me? How did you find me?
It's on Facebook.
Okay, cool.
Like so what's been happening is I guess it's the algorithm, and then it'll be people's profiles,
Yeah.
and so it's been like comedians and people in the entertainment industry, porn, um let's say comedy. So yeah, and then or modeling or whatever, and so I'll look, and then if I see something interesting, because everybody has like it may say comedian, but then I look and it's like everybody has a different story. They're not just
Sure.
into comedy. So,
Mm-hmm.
uh, but yeah, so
Cool.
you're
I'm glad we connected.
right. So you're Lenora.
So Tucker's my first name,
Oh, okay,
and Lenora is my last name for stages, and it's my middle
okay,
name.
okay,
Yeah.
cool. Usually people they'll post the opposite to be clever.
Oh, I gotcha. There is a local comedian, Alan Tracy, that does that because his name is Tracy. But um, yeah, I guess in the South they don't do it as much because everybody's got to have a real gendered name.
Right,
Sally's got to be Sally.
right.
So yeah, not everybody loves my name.
Yeah, they're probably thrown off because you're not like a dude named
Right.
Tucker.
Yeah, I tell girlfriends, I'm like, tell your husband I'm a girl.
Right. Well, sweet. So you're from Florida, you said?
So I was born in Florida, but then when I was 18, I left and went to seminary
Oh,
for
wow.
2 years in Pennsylvania, and it was extremely strict, and you were not allowed to have a car or books or music, anything from the outside world. It was very isolated. And then after that, and my internship, I went to South Africa by myself.
Huh.
And I was religious when I left. And when I came back to the States, I was an atheist.
When did you go there?
2003, so 10
Okay.
years after apartheid
Okay. I was gonna say
ended.
interesting.
Yeah.
I had a friend. So when I was 18, I worked for this like non for profit, and we had a like a. I guess he was like you call him like a troop leader or group leader, and this was '91. So he
Hmm.
had just gotten back from South Africa and Japan. And when he was in South Africa, he was there right as Mandela was released from prison,
Wow.
and everything was happening. And I believe he joined or he was offered a position with his press team because he was a
Wow.
photographer.
Uh-huh.
And at the time, I had no idea. Like I knew I'd heard about Mandela, but I didn't quite understand apartheid. I didn't know enough about it. I'd seen there was a benefit in the '80s for it with Bruce Springsteen, and but I didn't understand it. I didn't have a concept of segregation and like
Right.
racism to that point. So, um, but
That
yeah.
was
So,
by design because we were
oh,
busy doing business with them.
oh, of course, yeah. Same thing with the. I know. There's a yeah. Like he just got his son. Was it his son? Got picked up by the Israelis a couple months ago because he was part of a freedom flotilla.
Oh, no. I didn't hear that. That's not surprising, but tragic.
Right. Um,
I have lots of feelings about that.
um, and if you start getting, if you start learning about Israel, then you'll stumble upon the history of South Africa and their connection and after World War II and all that shit. So, um, yeah,
Oppressed love to kick other oppressed people.
it's just yeah, that's just it's a weird thing. When I was younger, in my 20s, I was at a club and I met this woman, and she was Afrikaner,
Mm.
and she was with her friend, and she starts making some joke about black folks in Africa, and drinking from water. I'm like, so wait a minute, you just came from a country that was like extremely oppressive, and then you come to America, joke around, and it's I don't want to compare oppressive situations, but like in America, it's like we bullshit enough where it's it's not the same. It's embarrassing to talk. To be white here sometimes talk about slavery. There,
Mm-hmm.
they had a serious system. Set up
Mm-hmm.
even for biracial people that they call colored and all that.
Mm-hmm.
And she started crying,
Indians.
and I was like,
Yeah.
"What are you doing coming here? What the fuck is your problem? Like, you're
Mm-hmm.
fucking gross." And
Good
she
for
was like,
you.
"Ooh." I was like,
Yeah.
you are."
Well, her tears can, be bottled up and dumped right out.
Right, right. I know. I'm just saying it. I just the uh the audacity of people, especially Afrikaners. I mean, I'm sure you're aware. Like last winter, all the Afrikaners that were allowed to come over here as ISIS started to pick up people, round people up. A bunch of Afrikaner got to come here for free, and
Other than Elon?
well, he gave Trump the idea to bring over the oppressed Afrikaners because they aren't doing as well because oh wow they got equal rights and black.
There's no upward mobility for people of color over there.
I
There's
know,
no education. It's awful. It's so violent. There's
right,
machine guns at the grocery store. You can't stop your car at the stoplights because you'll get carjacked. And rightfully so. They live in castles, the white people.
right,
There's no middle class. It's like
right,
mansions or shanties.
right. So one guy came over and they discovered that because of social media that he's one guy was super anti-Semitic and he was whining that he was leaving his compound because they call them compounds, and
Mm-hmm. They sure do
like
because they have
so
walls.
right, right, and it's like you're oppressed because it's like what about all black folks there living in tin huts or whatever the fuck and
Yeah, literally. It's
right,
like pieces of semis, like pieces of
right,
tin metal, just lean-tos with dirt floors. And it's not like from the movies. It's Mama Lodi, which is 20 minutes outside of Pretoria, which is the capital or former capital.
right,
It's it's crazy. So
and then
anyway, I could talk about South Africa
I know.
forever.
I just real quick. I just thought it was funny. So it's like you're gonna come to America right now, and you think you're gonna get the white privilege, because Trump's the president. When it's like you're gonna go to work because you're not gonna be just given shit. You're gonna actually have to get a place and get a job, and you're gonna discover that we don't have, we have shitty healthcare and education, and not everybody, especially black folks, aren't gonna kiss your ass and cross the street. They're probably gonna beat your ass,
Mm-hmm.
which you deserve. So I don't agree with
Mm-hmm.
you. But anyway, wow, that's interesting. You went to South Africa and you were going to be a nun, and you said no, fuck that. I'm going to be an atheist, and
Well, it was a little more,
I know.
it wasn't Catholic, but it
Oh,
was that I was going to be like dedicated to the church and have a bunch of kids and,
sure.
be pro-life and the whole thing. So, came back and went to community college for a semester and discovered that my mom had stolen my credit, which was
Oh,
fun, and then went to art school.
wow.
Because I wanted to be poor forever,
Right.
and that's working out. And then started dating women and did that for 10 years exclusively. And then married the second guy I dated and have a 10-year-old, got divorced, started comedy.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's wild. That's
yeah,
you just sum that up in 2 minutes.
I tried.
That's wild. Well, I just want to say thanks for coming on to conversations, and um, basically I came up with this idea um, because I like interviewing people. I've been doing this for a while, not successfully, but I've been trying, and it's fairly easy to do, and I like talking to people, um, and and I guess one of the reasons I speak to comedians because other than comedians like porn stars, the only people who give me the time of day and
Hmm.
don't charge me like a shitload of money to
Sure.
come on.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
Comedians want any exposure they can get.
right, and it's great for the it's very DIY as far as like promoting. It's like well, great for that. But I thought it'd be fun, and I got the idea from this comedian who had a show. I think in like around 2015, 2016. I can't remember his name. He he's really obscure guy from Jersey, a white guy with glasses. I can't remember his name. Anyway, he was on WTF with Mark Maron, and he was talking about he had a show and he put a number out that people could call, and it would be anybody, and then he just talked to them.
Yeah, that's cool.
And so I was like, well, I'm gonna do that, but like you know, a little more modern. And
Yeah.
so yeah, I appreciate you doing this, and I chose you because, like I said, I saw your profile, and why not?
Cool. Thank you. I'm glad to be here.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So sorry, I got the time wrong though. I thought it was gonna be like I thought you were. I thought 6:30 was for you, and then 2:30 was my time. So I was like, but anyway, it doesn't
Right now
matter.
it's 6:15.
Okay, we're good.
Yeah.
You're probably a really you're probably stickler to being on time.
I try just because the idea of being late or the moments that I am late, my stomach like just is
Really?
in knots and it just really bothers me. So I drive too fast all the time, but especially if I'm late and if I can do anything to mitigate that horrible feeling in my stomach or chest, I try because I'm just a really wound tightly
Really? You don't
person. Yeah.
come off like that at all.
I know. I get that a lot. When I'm on stage, people are like, "You act like you don't give a fuck." And I'm like,
Right.
that's so funny because I secretly have notes. I'm like
Nice.
so afraid I'm going to forget the next thing.
Right.
I'm sweating the fact that they didn't laugh at the last thing. So
I
I
yeah,
do give off something that's very different from my internal experience. So I try to kind of speak to that.
that's cool. Um,
Yeah.
that's funny. I I think comedy. I mean, it's become so like it just blew up as a art form lately, the
Hmm.
past couple of years because Netflix will give like so many people a special, but it's still I think it's super hard to do stand up, especially because just to make people laugh and a large group of people laugh is like it's amazing. I've made people laugh at parties. And that was cool. And my wife was like, "You should do stand up," and I did that, and it was like the worst. But I always think like, man, I wish I pursued music when in my 20s, and I wanted to be like Nirvana. I'm like, well, they could blow
Hmm.
up, but I should
Yeah.
have gone into comedy and writing. I lived in Chicago, and
Oh,
I could have gone to. There's tons of schools, and classes, but I wish I'd gone to Second City and just gotten the basic, skills.
I get that. It's very naked on stage because you don't have an instrument
Right,
to hide behind. As an artist, you have like your work to kind of speak to or your
right,
technical ability, but when you're on stage, not only are they judging what you're saying, but they're judging you.
right,
And that's really vulnerable and can be fraught with anxiety if you are super worried about how people perceive you. And
right,
I'm not super worried about how I'm perceived, but I am very curious because I want to be able to speak to what I look like, right? So I've
right.
been veering into jokes where I'm like, hey, ladies, I know that you sometimes hate me when I'm on stage because I'm wearing like a cute little outfit and you're like slapping your husband, like, you better not laugh. But I want you to laugh and like I want to connect with you. I want to be friends with you. And I want to tell you this joke about the time that I got a breast reduction. And
Wow.
yeah, and then they'll laugh and I'll be like, nothing from the men, right? And
Right.
kind of talk about like why men don't like breast reductions for obvious reasons. And
It's it's funny you mentioned that. I had in my 20s I had two friends who wanted those because even my wife talked about it because it's just like it's like you're carrying luggage. My friend explained it's like carrying two pieces of luggage on your chest, and it's like just excess weight because it's what each breast is like 10 pounds, right, or something, 20 pounds.
yeah, it depends. I would highly recommend it for anybody, not even for like health reasons, but you go from having like mom shaped stuff
Right,
to having brand new stuff. So I got mine done when I was 24 and they just it is very beneficial in
yeah.
terms of visual. So if your wife can afford it, you should encourage it because you will be a fan.
Yeah.
I know it sounds counterproductive.
No, I think if we had like the we had the money, I think she would, because
Mm.
she gets tired of dealing with bras and all that. And, are you tall?
I'm 5'6",
Oh, okay.
so
Oh,
I'm
wow.
average.
Okay.
Yeah. Hmm.
I was gonna say, do you make tall jokes? But and you come off like a tall person,
I do. Yeah. I have a really big
like
kind
calm.
of personality, or I kind of act like I'm 6 foot,
Right,
even
right,
though, and I joke about being homeschooled and how you learn things in high school, like
right,
knowledge, first of all, and second of
right,
all, you learn where you fit in the pecking order.
right.
And I didn't learn that, right? So
Oh,
I just walk around like having never been checked because, like, who's
that's
gonna
funny.
punch a white lady in the face
Right.
at like 40? So I'm forever gonna be the person who's like, what are you gonna do? Stab me? Like,
Right,
quote from Woman Stabbed.
right.
I
Nice.
just, yeah, I do have a tall personality.
My my youngest son was like that. He was 5'7",
Hmm.
maybe 5'6" or whatever, and he was like that where he had a group of friends and they were all like 6 footers, and he was the shortest, but he was real cool and he was like Ferris Bueller, real cool and like hey, and he never ever had a Napoleon's complex about anything. He was
Good
pretty chill.
parenting.
Huh?
Good parenting will do that.
I guess, yeah, because he never he was very aggressive and he very cool about everything. He's Mr. Cool. So
Nice.
yeah, but so you got into comedy and like how long you been doing that?
3.5 years.
Oh wow, okay.
Yeah.
How is it when you start like you started in your 30s or 40s?
I started when I turned 40, or just before I turned 40. I had just moved to a new city, which was Jacksonville. I didn't know anybody. I was going through a divorce, and it just felt kind of serendipitous, or like, if I'm not going to do it now, when am I going to do
Right.
it? And I just gotten to the point where I listened to stand up more than music on
Really?
Pandora and then Spotify. I just ate, drank, and slept it. Like, it was
Huh.
like podcasts and stand up. And I used to teach at Painting with a Twist, and Painting with a Twist is kind of goofy. And I am real sardonic and sarcastic. And
Nice.
so people that liked me would be like, girl, you should do stand up. And I would say, here's the thing, you paid $35 for a painting,
Right.
you got a painting. Yay.
Right.
And I was funny. Yay. But if you
Right.
pay $5 for comedy, I
Yeah.
better be funnier than Louis C.K. Like the
Yeah.
expectation once you spend money for comedy is you better make me fall out of my chair.
Right.
And forever that was just so intimidating. And then the process of being new just kind of made me feel like I had nothing to lose because I had no friends. I craved community,
Oh wow.
and I decided to just go to open mics as much as I could when I didn't have my daughter. And um, I just got obsessed with it. I call it the cheapest high. I
Yeah.
think that as much as it breaks your heart and makes you question things, it's exhilarating and it does connect you with other creatives that are mostly neurotic and autistic. And I love those people. So
Right.
it's great. It's been a great connector.
What who's your comedian? Who's your favorite? Or do you have one?
I mean, I have the greats. I love Richard Pryor, George Carlin,
Right.
Bill Hicks. Fantastic comedy that you can chew on and you can laugh at.
Right.
Jordan Jensen right now is really popular, and I enjoy her brain, the way she kind of works out jokes.
Yeah.
Um, Beth Stelling would be somebody that I would say is probably an influence just because she's real deadpan.
Yeah.
Um, but Chris Rock, Mitch Hedberg, those types, like just really stuck in my head for years, like
Huh.
early 2000s, like late 90s. I listened to their stand up and just be shocked be
Yeah.
shocked by the brilliance of if bullets cost $5,000 there'd be no such thing as innocent bystanders. Like that
Right.
whole bit about bullets
Right.
was so relevant and so smart and
Yeah.
so funny. I was like, there is something so honorable about being the truth tellers, and that's kind of how I perceive comedy. It's
Right.
like you say what others can't, and I don't mean slurs. I
Right.
don't mean punching down. I mean, you say the thing like
Right.
you're not beholden to
Yeah.
specific politicians or specific lobbyists or, whatever it
I
is that makes us hide.
that was that was kind of my introduction to George Carlin. Was I heard him, my friend gave me a tape of his, and then we listened and he swore, and and then but I really got into what he was saying because he made a lot of really good points, and they were just blatant, just truths. And then it was like Sam Kinison, because his take on like religion and I don't know, his history and his bombasticness, but
I should love him more having come from the preaching background, but the yelling, I cannot with the
that was,
yelling.
I mean, the guy was like blasted doing cocaine like so much. I
Nothing wrong with that. I just don't
no, I
like
know.
yelling.
That was his thing though. He was, I mean, if you've been around people on cocaine, it's like I've done it, and it's like you can't chill out. Like all you can do is just freak out,
I
and
can.
that's cool. I mean, I just never, when I did it, um, it was like I had to constantly be doing something. I felt like I hated myself. I thought I was a piece of shit, but then I thought everybody around me was a piece of shit as well. And
That's not
so
fun.
I know it's one of the drugs I wish I had never done.
I
Um,
gotcha.
I never, but I get what you're saying, but yeah, that's the thing. It's like as I got older, I started listening to comedians, but I would listen to what they were actually saying, and
Mhm.
the Chris Rock special where he talks about guns is really good, or he's like United States is like your uncle who like sexually assaults you but pays for your college. I was like,
Mhm.
wow,
Mhm.
that's a
I
pretty
hadn't heard that
amazing.
bit, but that's really good.
I was like, that's pretty good, and yeah, I could go on, but yeah, I got into Lenny Bruce later on, and he's like, he's the king because he actually went to jail. Him, Robin
Mhm.
Williams, and George Carlin. I think prior to. They all went to jail for what they said, and
Yeah.
so I get it.
Indecency.
Huh?
Indecency,
Right,
I think was the charge at the time. Imagine that.
right. And and having like a there was like an intelligent message behind everything. Not everybody, but
Right.
um, but yeah, well, that's very cool.
Mhm.
Like I said, comedy's wild. It is like that where you're a true ser like right now, it's amazing how comedians have become like part of our society where they're referenced as like, well, what's Dave Chappelle think of what's going on, or Bill
Mhm.
Burr, and
Mhm.
um it's just kind of silly because a lot of these guys are like douchebags in the same sense where, you know, I don't know, like Joe Rogan and that
We
whole scene.
worship money, and
Right,
they have it. And
right.
so for some reason that gives them a platform. Now, I go back and forth on Bill Burr because
I
the
know.
right the festival was egregious.
Right.
I feel like he has used his platform to kind of make unfortunate people's lives more difficult and
Right.
kind of encourage the working class, but I'm discouraged by his recent
It's
decisions.
it's like you can't um that's why I don't give a shit about celebrities like I used to. Like, you
Mhm.
I think for me it was like Dave Chappelle and his transphobia shit, and
I know.
you can just you can love people and respect them, for their gifts,
Mhm.
but people are human beings, and they will change. And these guys with all this money, and it's like, then you have was it Dave Attell, and he's been a working comedian. He used to have a
Mhm.
show on, I want to say VH1, and it would come on like, I want to say early 2000s, and he would go to places, go to bars, and
Yeah.
just talk to people. And
I can't remember the name either. His most recent show was Bumping Mics, but I can't remember the
right,
90s
but
one.
he's been a working comedian like his entire life. Like you know of him if you know you're familiar with comedy. And it's just, you don't hear about him, and how he's taken money from
Right.
foreign countries and all that. So
And his
uh,
last special, he is absolutely at the top of his game. His last special, you would measure a good special by laughs per minute.
right,
He had like 12 to 13 laughs per minute, which is
right,
really, really high. Like
that's funny.
to get in front and behind a joke, get the laugh, move on to the next one. I
Right,
mean, he is so skillful the way he weaves language and highbrow, lowbrow. It
yeah,
just is so inspiring. I mean, I watch it and I'm like, yep, I'm a baby. I know I have no idea what I'm doing in
right.
comparison.
I um I uh I like Mark Maron. I got into him because of his podcast,
Hmm.
and I liked his last special because he was just real honest, and um he just talking about his experience being in the comedy scene now. And
Yeah.
um and that he's another inspiration for doing this, because I just got really into his interviews because I just found him interesting in how he approached people, and
Yeah.
got people to just open up and talk. But so you got kids? You said you got a daughter?
I do. I have a 10-year-old,
Oh wow.
and she is at that age where still so sweet, so tender,
Right.
but starting to shut her door. And I'm like,
Right.
no, no, don't bog
Right.
me out.
Does she have her own
But
music and her own thing, her own
yeah,
interest?
she'll play music and sing along. Like that's where she is. She's
Okay.
singing along to music. She's not like rocking out and being sullen. She's
Okay.
like
My
still like, gosh.
right. My granddaughter is 9, my oldest, and
Okay.
she already showers and cranks her own music. She has her own. She's into metal and like
Wow.
Daft Punk and so we're gonna probably take her. But it's funny like because my son was talking about yeah she closes the door and it's crazy to hear all the music she plays. It's like we went to a music shop and she's looking for her own stuff and she's like
Wow.
9 and I mess with her but she's already her own. She's got her
Her
own
own
thing,
person.
and it's amazing to see that happen, and it's just so cool. So I can
Yeah.
imagine.
9 is a fun age. I really enjoyed when my daughter was 9. She just turned 10, so
Yeah.
we're just not started with that.
Is she like already into like her own style of um
Yeah,
like
I
buying clothes and her own thing?
yeah, I named her my ex-husband and I named her with a unisex middle name in case she was trans. So her middle name is Davis in case
Okay.
she decided that being a feminine person was not
Her
what she
thing.
wanted to be.
Right.
We wanted to make that easy or un like remove any hindrances in that way, but she's very girly,
Yeah.
but doesn't like things on her, like doesn't like nail polish, doesn't
Huh.
like makeup, doesn't want her hair messed with, but loves pink,
Okay.
but just doesn't want anything on her. And so I'm like, that's fine. I'm
Yeah.
not mad that a 10-year-old doesn't want to wear eyeliner. That doesn't hurt
Right.
my feelings.
You can avoid the whole phase,
Fingers crossed.
and she doesn't steal your shit either. Get older,
Not
start
yet, but
stealing
our
your.
our feet are about the same size, so it's about to happen.
Oh, okay.
I have little feet.
Oh, okay. That's
Yeah.
funny.
Yeah.
Well, sweet. Well, thank you so much for coming on, Tucker.
Absolutely.
Um, and maybe in a couple months I'll hit you up and talk about some different stuff.
Cool, that would be awesome. It was a pleasure talking to you, Sean.
All right. You have a good day, and
You too.
like I said, thank you for coming on, and have a good night.
You too. Bye-bye.